I was around 14 to 15 years old. We were living in a two-story house in Houston built in the early 70s. My older sister was planning a party for my niece. We stayed up late to finish a few things, because the party was set for the next day. My mother and younger sister were also helping prep stuff for the party. Once we were done with the goodie bags, they walked up to their rooms. As me and my older sister were cleaning up, I noticed that a centerpiece was not glued in properly, so I sat down in the floor because I had to use the glue gun. My sister said, "I'll be back, I'm going to ask Mom what looks better." Like 2 minutes go by, and I see her feet walk past right in front of me, walking towards the kitchen. I started talking to her about something that was going on at school, just gossip. She replied saying "oohoo," and then she never replied to me again. I got up and said, "Girl, are you even paying attention to my story?" And she didn't answer. I called her name once, then I said her name again, but louder. I heard her voice saying, "Hold on, I'm coming," but it came from upstairs, not the kitchen. I run to my mom's room as fast as possible and asked, "When the heck did you come upstairs again?" She replied, "I told you I was coming to ask for her opinion." I said, "No, but you walked downstairs again," and my mom and her both said, "No, she's been upstairs the whole time." But I swear I saw her feel walk by me. She had on the same nail polish and the exact same toe rings my sister had. When I was 8, around 6 years ago, I had moved into a new house with my family. I have this stuffed animal duck that I have had since I was 4, and at the time I slept with him every night. But since we still had loads of boxes, I had lost him and didn't want to go to bed. My mom eventually just told me if she or my oldest sister finds him, she will bring me him. So I went to bed without a problem, and I woke up around 3:30 a.m. to a woman standing next to my bed by my head. I slept by the door so I could get up for school easier, so I saw the woman with the hallway light. She was tall with long hair, she looked motherly, but that's all I really remember. Otherwise, she was just hard to see. She gave me my stuffed animal and told me, "Here you go, honey," and tucked me back in. I remember saying thank you and falling back asleep. I woke up the next morning to go thank my mother for bringing me my stuffed animal. She was confused and told me it wasn't her, probably my sister. So I went to her and thanked her, and it wasn't her either. And sure, it could have been someone else in my family, but my sister and mother were the only adult females at the time, and they usually just called me by a nickname or my middle name. Nobody had ever called me honey. Sometimes I still hear the word honey whispered before I go to bed, and it's always so clear. A few times I've felt someone rubbing my back. I sleep in my own room. But I haven't seen this woman since. Have I just been crazy? This house also used to be part of a church, the part where memorials were held and stuff. The house is 253 years old. Anyone know anything? I probably should. After moving in, I immediately started sleeping with a large chef's knife on my bedside table because it isn't the best neighborhood. After about a week, my wife woke me up in the middle of the night, extremely alarmed, and told me she thought someone was downstairs because she kept hearing someone. I leapt out of bed, grabbed the knife, and charged down the steps as fast and loud as I could in an attempt to frighten the intruder, and also because I was forcing myself to be brave. I didn't find anything after thoroughly searching every room, closet, and the entire basement. Time goes by, and we forget about that night after anointing the house with holy water. And then one early morning, I wake up to go use the bathroom. When I leave, I can hear my wife is in my stepdaughter's room waking her up and telling her it's time for her to get in the shower. I go back to bed and lay down next to my wife, who never left the bed. I don't think anything of it because I was half asleep. Later that day, my wife and stepdaughter were shocked while talking about it, and that's when I realized that it's almost as if my wife astral projected or something. We anoint the house again, and nothing major happens for a while, until my wife hears heavy work boots marching up our stairs straight to our bedroom door, and then nothing. A week after that, I awoke around 3 a.m. and saw a tall figure standing in our doorway. I screamed. My wife woke up and I pointed, and the figure was gone. Life goes on until tonight, when my wife told me she used the bathroom in the middle of the night. And she heard me walk from the basement door through the kitchen, living room, and hallway, stop right outside the bathroom, and hears my voice start talking to our dog. But when she goes back to bed, I'm already dead asleep. There have been other incidents, but these are the main events. Has anyone here ever experienced an entity mimicking them or their loved ones? What should we do? So I slept over at a friend's house after a while again. It was just the two of us, catching up on each other's lives. Everything went fine until it came to the sleeping part. I'm someone who's normally not afraid of the dark. I also like to stay up late and kinda have insomnia. After we went to bed separate rooms and closed the doors, I just did my usual stuff before bed. I put on music with my AirPods to sleep, and after a while I took them out because it wasn't helping like it usually does. And that's where it becomes unusual. I suddenly got a really weird feeling in my stomach, as if someone was watching me. Normally, I'd check the room with a light and go back to sleep, but something told me not to. Shortly after, I heard a creaking noise, as if something heavy got onto a shelf or so. I heard a tapping on the window and another tap a moment later. I had such a strong urge to look, but I couldn't. I was somehow held back by a really bad feeling, and just closed my eyes tighter, trying to act unbothered. After that, I fell asleep. In the morning, there wasn't anything unusual. It still questions me what it could have been, or am I just delusional? This happened to me about 3 years ago, but every time I tell it, I get chill. So one night while at my parents' house, I went to my room and got ready to sleep. When I was already in bed, I heard a knock at the door. I just asked who it was. About a minute passed, and they knocked again. I answered and said, "Come in," but no one opened the door, and I was too tired to go and answer it. About 3 minutes passed, and they knocked again, but this time they called my name. I swear I heard my mom's voice, but it was in a serious tone, and it was my name. So I got up and was about to open the door, but I felt something strange. So behind the door I yelled, "What's wrong, Mom? What do you need?" But no one answered, so I went back to bed. Then after about 3 minutes, she knocked again, louder, and called me by my name again. I think something had happened and she wanted me to come. I opened the door, but no one was there. I went downstairs to my parents' room and asked them what had happened, why she hadn't come by. She said nothing, why I explained everything that had happened, and she said I never went. I've been in my room for an hour and haven't left anywhere. My parents said maybe it was just an echo, but that was too much to be just that. My brother told me you should never invite an entity in, that's why they knock. You should never tell them to come in, I said, but it sounded just like my mom. I swear it was her voice. Then he told me that there are entities that do that. Later I started seeing TikToks about someone calling their mom, and then suddenly their mom appears and stops them from going toward the voice because it wasn't her. Have you heard of these entities? Do you know what they're called? Should I be worried?